Manchester United transfer deadline day news live, Ederson agreement, Donnarumma medical. The latest Man City transfer news about Ederson, Gianluigi Donnarumma, Manuel Akanji, Nathan Ake, Stefan Ortega, Issa Cabore and more. Pep Guardiola's men have been busy in the transfer window, securing the signings of James Trafford, Marcus Bettinelli, Rayan Ait-Nouri, Tijani Reinders, Ryan Cherki and Sverre Nypan. With the transfer window closing on Monday evening at 7 p.m. BST, City could be refreshing their goalkeeping department with Ederson looking likely to leave the Etihad Stadium. Should that happen, City are expected to make a move for PSG goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma, who the European champions are looking to offload today. Manuel Akanji, Stefan Ortega and Nathan Ake have also been linked with moves away from City, and their situations are ones to monitor today. Stick with us throughout the day as we bring you all of the latest news, views, updates and analysis right here. As we look like we are reaching the end of Ederson's 8-year stay at City, it is worth remembering Manchester United turned down the chance to sign him. Jose Mourinho opted against a move for the Brazilian international, and then they infamously clashed at Old Trafford after City beat United 2-1 in 2017. Mourinho approached the City dressing room to request they celebrate their victory in a more dignified manner before a shouting match erupted between the United manager and Ederson. City's Brazilian goalkeeper responded in Portuguese and exchanged verbals with Mourinho as the row escalated. Mourinho was then soaked by water and milk, according to MEN sources. One of the moves we expect to see at City today is the departure of Issa Cabore. After loan spells with Luton, Benfica and Werder Bremen, the 24-year-old right-back is deemed a surplus to requirements at City, and TalkSport reporter Ben Jacobs is claiming he is close to joining Wrexham on a season-long loan deal. The two clubs have already done business this summer after Wrexham signed young defender Callum Doyle from City on a permanent deal. It was a surprise to see Rodri fit enough to start on the South Coast, with Guardiola even intimating on Friday that he would only get a few minutes before heading off on international duty with Spain. But Rodri's inclusion gave the Premier League its first proper glimpse of a midfield partnership that could become a real strength for City this season, with Tijani Reinders fielded alongside the Ballon d'Or winner. It gave City a strong midfield base, with Rodri sitting deep and Reinders and Bernardo Silva as number 8s, and during spells in the first half, it laid a solid platform. That vanished as the game progressed. Bernardo was the only one of the trio to be withdrawn, despite Rodri making his first Premier League start for 11 months and Reinders getting worse as the game progressed. His regression since his Premier League debut at Wolves is a concern, and once again, City's soft underbelly was cut open in this game. The worry will be that it happened with Rodri in the team. This might not be the Ballon d'Or winner at his best, but he was still powerless to Brighton's wave of attacks from midway through the second half. During last season's worrying slump, it was always the hope that Rodri would return and things would get back to normal. They might still do with time, but this was an eye-opening reminder that there is no guarantee that will be the case. According to Fabrizio Romano, a deal has now been struck for Gianluigi Donnarumma to join Man City from PSG. The Italian international goalkeeper will undergo a medical this afternoon before completing his move to the Etihad Stadium. More than £320 million spent and 122 days in 2025 to reshape Pep Guardiola's squad. But the recruitment gurus at Manchester City won't have got much sleep last night as they weigh up the final chance to make a difference this year. It's been a whirlwind few months already at the Etihad, with the door slamming shut on some big careers and almost enough players to field an entire new starting 11 coming into the club. They might not be done yet either. 3 or 4 first-team players could go today, and one of the best goalkeepers in the world could arrive. But is it going to be enough? On the evidence of the first 3 games of the season, the doubts are growing. It's worth remembering that City's slump began with the old guard last autumn. The unprecedented investment in January was seen as an overdue beginning to attempts to refresh the squad. But one of the many secrets to City's success under Guardiola has been a remarkable hit rate when it comes to recruitment. Of the 9 players signed for sizable sums this year, including teenagers Vitor Rice and Sverre Nypan, how many will go down as successes? Here's the latest on Manchester City's activity ahead of tonight's 7 p.m. transfer deadline. Monday, 1st of September, 2025 Donnarumma deal and more sales. What to expect from Manchester City on deadline day? Manchester City are set for a busy end to the transfer window as they aim to try and trim down Pep Guardiola's squad before tonight's deadline. Manchester City are primed for a potentially busy deadline day at the Etihad with eyes fixed on whether a new number. One could come through the door. City have been active throughout the window, and Director of Football Hugo Viana will be in the thick of the action again until tonight's 7 p.m. deadline. The biggest deals involve a goalkeeper leaving and one coming in. Long-term number. One Ederson has been linked with an exit for nearly 2 months, and having been linked with Galatasaray for most of that time, it is their Turkish rivals Fenerbahce who are now leading the chase for the 32-year-old, who was on the bench at Brighton yesterday. City have been open to letting the 32-year-old leave for several weeks and could cut a deal today, which would allow them to finalise a move for Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma. The Italian is considered one of the most formidable shot stoppers in the world, but Luis Enrique has axed him from the Champions League winners' squad over concerns that he isn't good enough with the ball at his feet. That hasn't stopped City showing an interest in the 26-year-old who has no future at the Parc des Princes. If Ederson's departure goes through, then the Blues are likely to make their move. But it could be a race against the clock unless City opt to go for Donnarumma before Ederson is sold. The Turkish transfer window doesn't close for another 10 days, and with Fenerbahce now out of Europe, they don't have to register a squad with UEFA by Tuesday. That was the deadline Galatasaray were up against if they went for the Brazilian. Stefan Ortega is another goalkeeper who could be heading for the exit door today. Ever since James Trafford signed from Burnley for £27 million last month, it has been expected that the German would leave. Manuel Akanji and İlkay Gundogan are also potential departures, despite both being on the bench at Brighton on Sunday. Centre-back Akanji is wanted by Tottenham and other clubs across Europe, while Gundogan is attracting interest from clubs in Turkey and Saudi Arabia.